What's up everybody, it's 2bricks and I am here with a new review for the Lego Dune Ornithopter set. I'm doing a little bit of a different style of review, at least for the intro, than I usually do. Typically you could see just the white void with the product in it and my hands interacting with it, but I started to notice that it's kind of difficult to get a sense of the scale of the set that you're buying, and especially when display space is at such a premium, I feel like that's an important thing to get to grips with. So yeah, I just figured for at least the intro here, I would give you guys a look at everything that you get in the box spread out. So obviously here's the box. You have your instruction manual, your set, and your figures, and all the extra pieces down there, so that you can kind of get more of a feel of how it looks next to a real live human being. That is me. So yeah, this set is incredible, first of all. I am so excited to get in and talk to you guys about it. The ease with which I'm able to just pick this up, manipulate it, the action features that they were able to integrate into it. I mean, it's out of this world. This feels like something that I would strive to design in terms of stability and mix of play features and aesthetics all kind of combined into one package. It's like the best of the UCS line, the best of Lego Icons, the best of Technic, all smushed into one really fantastic ship. So this is an absolutely out of this world product, and I just can't wait to kind of get in and show you all the specifics. I do have some nitpicks, and I will get into those as we go through the set. And I am planning also to do a mod video later on down the line where I make some tweaks of my own, because you know me, I can't help myself. And you know, I'm just kind of excited to live with this set for a little while, because it's one of the most fun Lego experiences I've had for quite some time. So we're going to hop on over to the white void now, and I'll show you guys all of the details up close, and let's just get in and take a look. All right, so here is the model next to the figures. We can kind of take a nice close-up look at this set. Now the set does not come with any stickers at all, so the one decorated element that we see here is a print, which I'm very appreciative of. Not because I have anything really against stickers, it's just that it's one of those things that if you can do it, you know, if there's just a single element that needs to be decorated, and you can just create a unique print for it, I think that's always a cool thing to do, because it's just one less thing to worry about screwing up when you put the set together. Messing up the stickers can be very heartbreaking. So yeah, that's very nice, and the print on that looks great. It's very crisp, and in my opinion looks way better than a sticker ever would have for that tile. So thumbs up for that. The instruction manual for this is very unique and cool. So it has the kind of now standard white cover there with the regular artwork. Oh, and don't forget to scan the QR code here to get your free VIP points if you just register your set. That's something not a lot of folks know about. But we have a lot of nice artwork, information about the set and the set designer and the world of Dune, the specific characters. It gives you kind of a breakdown of each of the characters that we see represented as a minifigure. So if you're somebody who's not really, oops, knocked over all my figures. If you're somebody who's not super familiar with the world of Dune, if you just picked this up because you thought it looked cool, then you can get some insight into who all of these people are, their various struggles, and you know, they didn't just write a tiny little nothing blurb. They actually go into a little bit of detail for each of these. So I think that's really cool and much appreciated. And they've also done this thing where they've taken key steps along the way to give you kind of a little bit of information about the thing that you're building. Let me see if I can find one of these. And what that subassembly actually does within the, man, I'm just ruining my display here. What that subassembly will do within the actual model itself, and kind of explaining a little bit of the thought process behind certain design choices as well, which I think is so cool. That's what I like to do. And Lego's trying to put me out of a job. And particularly when I'm doing things like if you've ever seen any of my Let's Build videos, I like to explain what a piece that I'm putting in is for, and why I decided to do it that way. And Lego seems to be thinking in a similar vein here. So I love this. This is a really top quality instruction manual, and they went to a lot of effort for it. So I love to see it. You know, the standard manuals that we get for sets are fine, but when they go a little bit above and beyond, it's always nice to see. So yeah, you can see here all my figures have fallen over. That's fine. I can just go ahead and reset them. But the ship itself looks pretty incredible. It's not perfect. I think there's a couple of things aesthetically that are close but not quite. And so let me just kind of go through some of those for you now. I think that the attachment point for the wings looks great as far as the accuracy of the strut itself, but there's this feeling that's missing where there's kind of a ball turret feel to it in the movie, And I think that, obviously there was no way to be able to capture all of the different features and functions that they wanted to include in this and still have that look in there, because all of this is doing a lot of stuff. So I totally understand the need to omit that, but that is a kind of a bummer. And the other thing is the kind of crest. It's almost like a Triceratops crest that the ship has in the movie that sits behind here, and it's kind of quite prominent the way that it swoops up. And I feel like we're not quite getting that in here with these shapes. And the reason for that is that, we want to be able to open the doors, so you need clearance through here, so you can't build kind of a solid piece. So I understand that, but back here there is room for perhaps some modifications to kind of give a little bit more of that shape, because it is, like I say, it's quite prominent in the movie, and we don't really have a representation of that here. But other than that, I feel like this is pretty much bang on perfect. The way that the landing gear are organized, the action features to be able to deploy those is absolutely wonderful. It has more studs than I know a lot of people like. A lot of people seem to be allergic to Lego studs in Lego models, which has never really bothered me. And it does have a few odd colors poking through. Well, more than a few, actually. There's yellow, red, and orange that are all poking through in various degrees, that some of which are preventable, because we have the parts that exist for those. Like, for example, these 2x Technic axles we have in black, and they're actually included in the set as well. So it's it's a choice to put the red ones in here, and I know that the reason for that is to make it easier for people to find the parts as they're building. But this is Dune. This is Denis Villeneuve's very serious, very realistic Dune, and it feels like this wants to have the kind of monotone color scheme that the ship has in universe. So while I understand for practical purposes, including things like yellow Technic axles, we would rather, I think, probably want to see gray and black where possible. And yeah, like I said, even these ball joint pieces in here, this is a ball joint with the bar on the end of it that comes in dark gray or dark bluish gray, and that would have been, I think, a better inclusion. Even though it doesn't bother me that much, especially when I have this in my hand and I'm doing all the action features and swooping around. I'm not looking at those tiny little dots of color that are poking through, but as a display model, I know that does take away just a tiny bit of the display value. But I think overall, they really, really nailed the proportions and the overall look of it, and the action features. I mean, we have to get into that in a second. That's what really sells this model, but I think from an aesthetics standpoint, it's pretty darn good. And creating a new element for the front here for the windshield is very much appreciated. Creating a new element for the wings is also very, very much appreciated. We're going to look at those in detail up closer a little bit later on, as well as the figures. But I think overall, very, very respectable exterior and very displayable as well, especially in this nice kind of slick landed formation here. So yeah, let's take a look at the action features and what this thing can do. Okay, so really quickly, here are the extra pieces that you get. You can see there we have a couple of additional weapons. There's the machete piece, the white Lord of the Rings sword piece there, which I love, and the bar with the red color there is really, really useful. But other than that, pretty standard little Technic and small elements there. Nothing super exciting. Obviously, the main event here is the ship. So let's go ahead and take a look at the action features. So there is the ability, if you manipulate this little toggle kind of switch here up the top, that is going to make your wings deploy, and that works so smoothly, so reliably every single time. And you can do it, I feel like, one-handed. If you have your hand just at the right point here at the kind of forward end, you can just about make that work with your thumb. Let me see if I can get this to go all the way. Yeah, there you go. So that works really, really well. And of course, once you have that going, also the wing flapping feature, which is just so good. It works so well. And the only thing is, of course, in the movie, this is vibrating at supersonic speeds, and it's a blur. And obviously, this idea is not conveying that. Maybe you could imagine this as being, when it's just coming in for a landing and you're just kind of, the blades are settling. But obviously, that's not something that can be replicated in the real world. Nobody can make a Lego set that can do dragonfly wings. So what we have here is nothing short of incredible engineering-wise. And then we have the lowering ramp. So there's an activator right here, and you'll see the landing gear and the ramp. Let me try to do it from the other side. The landing gear and the ramp all move together. So the switch is activatable from both sides. So as you turn it, the ramp retracts, The landing gear here goes up, and these at the front, whoops, turn inwards. So you can see under here there's a lot of exposed Technic lift arms and stuff, and I'm actually losing a piece here, sorry about that, that make that happen. So let me just do it from this side. So you twist it, the ramp comes down, the gear deploys, and it kind of clicks into a slightly overcorrected position that locks everything into place, so you can very confidently place the thing down. Sorry, the wings keep getting caught on my camera. You can place the thing down, and it's very, very secure on this setup here. So really, really well done. So the entire inside of this whole thing is dedicated to both, you know, this happening and the activation of the vibration, and then the whole undercarriage is taken up by this whole ramp assembly here. So there's a ton going on there. And then at the front here, we just have these ratcheted pieces here for the doors so that you can get your figures in and out easily. And then we have a little pallet here containing the seats so that you can place your pilot and your passenger, and then place them in there. It would have been great to be able to seat 3 in the front, because in the actual Ornithopter there is a pilot at the front and then 2 passenger seats behind, but there just simply wasn't enough space with the way that this configuration worked out. But I do think it can be done. I think I'm going to experiment around with a way to get that to work. And then you can also change the angle here of your kind of light bank up at the front there, so you can get those to swivel down out of the way a little bit. But that about does it for the action features. But man, every step of the way as I was building this, I was just in awe. I mean, I guess even technically being able to hold this from back here and do all this stuff with confidence should count as an action feature, because it's wonderful. I kept having to stop and look at what I had just built and activate the function over and over again just to see, like, how is this working? and I did actually mess up quite a few times. This is a very complicated model, and one you have to really pay attention when you're building it. The Technic stuff is very complicated, and a lot of times when you're securing large assemblies that kind of lock everything together, there's multiple things that have to line up correctly, and if you mess one of them up, you have to take it all apart, and not take it all apart, but, you know, remove what you just did and do it again, and make sure that and it shows in the instruction manual exactly where things need to go, so you just need to pay close attention, much more so than a regular Lego set, I would say. But the result is worth it. It absolutely floored me when I first, you know, seeing it in a video, in a designer video or something is one thing, but actually having it in your hands and doing it, it feels so good. So yeah, kudos to that. The action features really, really make this for me. Now, in the instructions, they discuss the fact that this is a minifigure scale rendition of the Ornithopter, and so here's a minifigure kind of right next to the side of it, so you can kind of get a sense. And I think that it does feel about right. I think that claim of it being minifig scale feels appropriate, though I do feel that there's probably a way to squeeze more minifig scale-ness out of it. And so an example of that would be, like I said, the correct number of passengers in the front. There's no interior space here. There's a very minimal interior in the actual ship, but it allows, I think, 2 or 3 people to be standing or sitting back here. And then the ramp cannot be accessed in this model due to the fact that all of the gears and lift arms and things required, well, there's actually no gears, but lift arms required to make all of this work, you know, prevent anything from going through there. And also in the back, you can see here, it's all solid. There's no indication for passengers to be able to walk back into the rest of the ship there. So that is obviously just an unfortunate trade-off of having the incredible action features. You know, the room that they are requiring within the design kind of takes precedent over any of that. So I would be really interested to actually build a minifigure scale, maybe with some of the features left intact, but with the interior actually fleshed out, kind of a version of this ship. And obviously you'd have to sacrifice a lot of the mechanical elements, but I think that would be something that would be really, really cool and worthwhile trying to do. And so maybe I will have a go at that. We'll see. But yeah, as far as the actual minifig scaleness, I think it does feel appropriate to what we see in the film. So yeah. So for those looking to modify this set to remove all of the elements that are jarring in terms of color scheme, I think most everything does exist in kind of more muted colors. And there's a lot of just things like, for example, in here you can see there's a, I believe it's a 1x3 regular Lego plate in tan that you can just substitute for a dark bluish gray or black and you won't see it anymore. Covering up a couple of these areas of exposed studs and a couple of the larger holes here and gaps and things that I think could be covered up just slightly more. But I don't think it's going to take a ton of engineering expertise to be able to do that. I think that's actually going to be fairly simple for you. But you're going to have to take the whole model apart and kind of start over again. So what I would recommend doing if you're going to try to mod this, at least before I get any attempt out myself, I would say to take photos of all the things that you can see on the exterior that bug you. And you might want to include stuff like there's a pink stud under there that you can see visible when you open the doors. You can just swap that out for gray. Take photos of all of those things so that you remember what is and is not essential to change later on when you have this thing in pieces, because you will forget, because so much of the interior is very colorful and filled with different sub-assemblies that it's kind of hard to remember what will be visible at the end. So yeah, I think it should be a fairly simple color swap for most of these elements. Some of them you can even do without having to take anything apart, like the there's these 2x2 Technic axles throughout here and here and here, all throughout. Those should be very, very simple. You just take the black one and you just shove it in, and the red one should fall out. And then the ball joints in here in red, you can be replacing those with black very, very easily, just popping off this this one piston or linkage piece right here. That'll kind of give you access to that pretty easily. So this is very moddable right from the start and very approachable for all of that. And then I think covering up some of this as well, this section in here, it feels like the gray could just continue back all the way back here. And I think you could just achieve that by simply applying another 2x6 gray tile in here. And you know, that'll just cover up the majority of that right off the bat. So yeah, fairly simple to make changes if you are somebody that just cannot stand to see other colors. And also you can obviously apply a few more tiles and things to cover up some of the studs if you're one of those people who hates Lego studs. But I think overall, it's a very, very presentable model. You can see also back here, there's some yellow poking through. So yeah, you can go ahead and just switch those out with fairly inexpensively, I think. So yeah, all hope is not lost as far as making changes to immediately make yourself happier with this. So for custom mock builders or I guess Bricklink resellers, this is really a dream set in terms of some really nice new elements that come in large quantities. So you're getting 8 of these brand new wing blade pieces here, and I would not be surprised to see some large kind of Hero Factory or Bionicle style samurai very soon coming out of the community with these. These are absolutely awesome pieces. Also, these would be really useful for example, your Lego city. If it you know, could use some wind power, this would be a very, very useful element for that, certainly. These are great, and the only gripe that I have with these is that they have a very slight bend to them that came out of the box that way, and they all bend the same direction, which initially I thought was fine because, you know, they're all curved in the same direction. However, because they're opposing on the model, you have some that lean down on one side and curve up on the other side, and it creates a little bit of asymmetry, which is really unfortunate. But I'm going to see if placing these between some stacks of heavy books or something maybe has an effect to straighten those out. Maybe this could be one of those things that you could apply some hot water to and then press. I'm not really super sure on that, so stay tuned for that. I'm going to do some research and let you guys know what I come up with, because it would really be nice to get these to look absolutely beautifully straight, because it's such a huge part of the aesthetic of the overall model. But the piece itself is very, very nice, and I'm glad that they did make a custom piece for that, because it's just nicer than having to try to brick build something that's, you know, fairly inelegant. Next up is these really, really useful 6x slopes here with a very shallow angle in dark bluish gray. You get 10 of these in the set, so I'm very, very happy about that. These are going to be very useful pieces. I already used a whole bunch in my LAAT mock recently, my gunship, so I'm really happy to have more of them in different colors. And then we have a bunch of these windscreen elements or window elements in the new black color, which is the more kind of bluish tinted black, so that's very nice indeed. Brand new element here for the front of the window, so that just creates the very front section, and it's very similar to some pre-existing pieces that I think they probably could have gotten away with using but since they were going to recolor it anyway, I guess the decision was made, the very good decision, to give us a new element for that. It looks really nice. I love the faceted appearance of it. The piece I'm thinking of is more rounded and wouldn't have looked nearly as good in this situation. So yeah, this is absolutely great. I did initially think maybe this could make for a good X-Wing cockpit, but it's way too small actually. I didn't realize quite how tiny it was. One of the reasons that I wanted to change my kind of presentation style, so you get more of a sense of the scale of things right at the start of the video, for exactly reasons like this. I'm an experienced Lego builder and I could not tell how big this piece was. So, and then you get these absolutely huge what was this for? Was this in the U-Wing, I believe, made use of these elements, and I think also X-Wing, UCS X-Wings have made use of this. You get these two of them in the new black color as well. And these are, again, very, very useful large windshield pieces for big, awesome mocks that you might be doing. So yeah, really, really happy with the part selection overall. And of course, all of the different plates and wedges and all of that stuff is going to be super useful, as is the printed tile. You know, that's a very kind of ubiquitous eagle kind of iconography that could be used for a bunch of different sci-fi and military type applications. So yeah, overall, this is a very, very usable and reusable set. So I really love to see that. I hate when things are too specialized and you just feel like you can't really do anything with it once you have it together. All right, so taking a look at the minifigure selection, Lego absolutely went above and beyond with the minifigures in this set. They give you a full selection of 8 characters, which was not at all expected or necessary, I think, for a set of this type. But they went ahead and did it anyway, and it's absolutely fantastic. So starting from left to right, we have Paul Atreides, Duke Jared Leto Atreides, Lady Jessica, and Gurney Halleck. And they all look absolutely fantastic. And what I really appreciate that they did here is that they gave us the still suits with no kind of visible indication as to who's wearing it on the actual suit design. So that is fully swappable between any of the characters. So for example, Lady Jessica in the movie spends a lot of time not wearing this gold robe outfit. She has an alternate face here. So you can take that alternate face and the included extra hairpiece, add it to the still suit. You can also swap Paul Atreides from his kind of standard walking around being a regular guy outfit to his also to the still suit. So you can kind of create the scene of, you know, the latter half of the movie where they are off on their adventures, you know, in and around the Ornithopter. So I just really appreciate that, and I think that the level of detail that they've given us for each of these feels really, really deluxe. Especially, I mean, if you look at the fine gold hatching there on the robe there for Lady Jessica, even the going as far as to give us the gold print for the face mesh there feels really, really extra. The printed shoulder pads and everything here for Gurney, I mean, it's just above and beyond. And we've got nice metallic printing in there too. And everybody gets an alternate face. I think everybody does. So we have a more kind of cheeky look there. For Gurney, we have a slightly happier, sorry, let me straighten his hair, slightly happier look here for Duke. And then Paul gets a more serious face here as well. So everybody has kind of a range of emotions that you can put on their faces. You know, or not a range, there's two, but a very useful alternate face for each of them, so you can have them be either serious or happy, which are, you know, kind of the two main anchors of the emotional spectrum. So really, really, really pleased with these figures. I think they look absolutely, absolutely awesome. And yeah, again, the way that they thought about how to customize things with the still suits, I just appreciate more than you could possibly know. So great job, Lego. Absolute 10 out of 10. Let's look at the next figures. And then next up we have Duncan Idaho, Dr. Liet Kynes, Chani, and way up there is Baron Harkonnen. He's off screen right now. Funny enough, they spelled his name incorrectly in the instructions for one of the languages, that was English. They spelled it as Baron Valdemir instead of Vladimir, although I want to say Valdemir actually sounds just as evil and fantasy-esque, so hey, nobody's perfect. But again, going above and beyond here, we have not only the still suits, we have the scarf there for Chani. Dr. Liet gets her cape and her two awesome pickaxes, and then the two different bladed weapons here for Duncan. And I really love this open chest design here. This could be a really cool, you could definitely kind of switch this out for being a casual Boba Fett wandering around the streets of Tatooine with more of a kind of cash look to him. I think that almost looks exactly like a Boba Fett face. I know it's not, but He gets the ponytail there, or the top bun, and also you could place a crown or other similar accessory on top of his head if you feel so inclined. I really love the hairpiece that they chose there for Dr. Liet. That's absolutely feels just right. And yeah, giving her the cape when she already has the highly detailed and really nice looking still suit on, I think was awesome. And then of course all we can see of the Baron right now is this custom cape that they gave him. But let me just give you a look at the alternate faces here, and then we can take a look at the Baron more seriously. So Duncan gets a serious battle face there, and then for Dr. Liet she has the face mask, the breather, and I love all the blue eyes in this. That looks really nice. And also Chani gets her mask as well. So there are those, and let's take a look at the Baron in more detail other than what you can see right here, which does look nice. And so for Baron Harkonnen here, you can see he comes with the clear stand. He's very, very highly elevated off the ground, and he has this ridiculously long cape cloak thing, which is a new element that is printed up on the front. I've seen a lot of folks saying that it's awkwardly pinched at the front, but what I think it is that you're supposed to not have this on super tightly. So the two back sections here, I don't think you're supposed to cross those over so that they sit flat on top of each other like you kind of would with a traditional Lego cape, because that causes the little side connection part right here to be pinched a little too tightly, and then he gets this really awkward kind of pinched look here under his feet. So it still has that like a tiny bit the way that I have it right now, but it's not really very noticeable when you just have it on display like this. You can barely see anything, so I think that's the way to go. And then yeah, he gets the very menacing face, and we can take a look up close here. He just has that kind of real gross Baron Harkonnen expression. What a nasty character, and they really captured him here, I think. So yeah, I think couldn't have asked for any more. Obviously no double-sided face for him because he is a bald guy, and you would see it and it would look weird. Oops, come on, focus. There you go. But yeah, I'm very pleased that they even bothered to include this at all. I would have thought that this would be the first one to fall off of the kind of, you know, would be nice but nah, actually kind of list that Lego must have when they consider which characters to include, because this is such a complicated thing to get right. You have to have the stand, and you have to have the weird cape element and figure all of that stuff out. So the fact that they included him, and with a nice printed design on the front too, is absolutely fantastic. So it just goes to show that this really was one of those sets that they wanted to really go above and beyond and smash it out of the park with, and they did just that. All right, so in conclusion, is this set worth the $165 asking point for it? I think absolutely yes. I think that the value is there in terms of the building experience. I built this over a period of maybe 3.5 hours, and I had just an absolute blast. Usually I would try to build a set faster. I just tend to build fast, but I was really trying to take my time with this and look at every single little thing that I was adding and analyze it, and just absolutely be in love with the building experience. Some sets, you know, they just go together and you just place one piece on top of the other and you're done, but this feels special. And if you're a fan of Dune, I mean, what more could you ask for? You're getting the coolest ship from the first movie, you're getting all of the main characters that you could possibly want to see from that movie, even including some that are just surprise inclusions for me, like the Baron. I can't believe that we got him. And you're getting really useful, awesome costumes for each of the characters that are very interchangeable as well. So I just think it's an absolute win on every front. I think this is probably my favorite set, maybe since the DeLorean set from a couple of years ago. That was the last time that I felt that kind of ooh, kind of feeling when I was building a set, and this gave me that times 10. So yeah, I really do think what I said in the beginning, this is the best combination of all of the different styles that Lego kind of operates in, all smashed into one absolutely fantastic package. And I can see why it was sold out on day one. I can see why it was on back order immediately, and then when I went to the Lego store, it was out and I had to wait and come back on a restocking day because yeah, everybody wants this, and rightly so. So if you're waiting on it, if you're unsure if you want to pull the trigger, I'm telling you now, if you like what you see, you won't be disappointed. Yeah, so those are my thoughts, and I'm just so happy to have this thing in my collection. It's going to stay put together, I think, longer than a lot of sets of mine usually would, so that should tell you something. All right, so that's everything. Thank you guys for sticking with me to the end of this review. Obviously, you've heard my thoughts. I'm gushing about the set a lot because I do frankly adore this thing. And I really appreciate you kind of going on this journey with me in the new review style, and I would really like to know what you guys think down in the comments. Do you like seeing more of my ugly mug, or do you prefer the strictly white void clinical style of reviews that I used to do? I'm just curious to know what you think. So yeah, I'm gonna get to work on the next video for you guys. That is probably gonna be an update to my LA-AT gunship. I did make some tweaks since the last time that we took a look at that. And then I'm gonna be working on some modifications like I mentioned for this, and probably doing one or maybe even two videos kind of covering the things that I'm interested in for this set. So if you like what you see, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because you don't want to miss the next thing. There's going to be a lot more stuff. 2024 is shaping up to be a very, very busy year for the channel. Please do leave a like if you like the video. It kind of helps YouTube to know that people are interested in the content. And if you don't like it, well, sorry, there's no thumbs down anymore, so there's nothing you can do about it. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and bye for now.